we got a brand new logo for Dad Dare. If you're new to this channel, I am in the process of completely rebranding this channel from a family vlog type channel called Axe Family into a channel that is focused on becoming and being the best dad that you can be. And it is called Dad Dare. And we just finished the logo, and before I reveal it to you guys, I want to tell you that I am super thankful for those of you who have been encouraging me with this transition, and for those of you who are excited to follow along and see this new content that I'm going to be producing and sharing with you. It really is like a personal journey that I'm going on, and I'm trying to be pre-active. That's where the pr came from. I'm trying to be pre-active in preparing to be the best dad that I can be. My hope and my wife's hope is that we are parents one day, and we want to be pre-active in preparing for that and gaining wisdom from others who have gone before us. And thus we are changing this channel to Dad Dare, and it's challenging myself as well as current and future dads to be the best dad that they can be. All right, without further ado, here is the Dad Dare logo. Oh, isn't that awesome? Yeah, so I'm super excited about it. It came together really nicely, and let me just walk you through some of the symbolism in it because there is meaning to it. And if you think about the process of building an arrow, now archers would have maybe a better understanding of this than others, but for those who have never shot a bow and arrow before, I'm sure you can understand some of the basic concepts that I'm about to talk about. When you're building an arrow, you want that arrow to fly straight. You want that arrow to fly directly towards where you aim it. And in order to build it correctly, every little detail, if you've ever seen like how planes are built, how building a paper airplane, basically anything that flies through the air, every little bit will change how that object flies through the air. And so when someone is building an arrow, it is similar to the process of parenting children. You have this young child and you are developing their character and guiding them with your wisdom, and you're also leading them through encouragement and discipline to hopefully one day set them to flight and to see them as an adult to go out into the world on their own and to hopefully fly the way that you prepared them to, and if not better. And so this idea of crafting an arrow is the symbolism that I'm trying to kind of lean on and meditate on in this process of becoming a dad someday. And it really is a cool process. There's a lot to making an arrow. There's a lot that I have to learn about archery in itself. I might even start doing some actual archery myself to just kind of get more into this practice and the meditation of becoming a dad or parenting. But I wanted to include that symbolism in the logo because it really struck a chord for me when I was on a mission trip in Haiti at this orphanage, and we were helping finish this house that the kids, actually the girls, eventually ended up moving into. At the time it was kind of a guest house for guests that came, and we were spending a month there in Haiti. And for someone who grew up in the United States with a lot of privilege and a lot of wealth in comparison to Haiti as far as material wealth goes, it's hard for me to understand what it's like for them. And going to that country several different times was helpful for me to understand a little bit more of what they're going through. In the evening, we would go up on the roof of this house and we'd just kind of pray for that organization and pray for the kids. And that's when I started to learn about this concept of kids being arrows, and taking the time not only to build the arrow correctly, but investing yourself into building this arrow, but then also the quality of the bow. I've never thought about that before. That just came to my head. So there's so much more that comes from this, but the bow would be the parent. And so in the logo here, we have the two D's that stand for dad and dare. And they also represent bows. And in my ideal mindset of what it would be to be the best dad I could be, I would have the best mother right next to me. And we would be working as a team. And so there are two different D's, two different bows that are shooting the same arrow. And so the quality and the health of the bow is going to play a huge part in that. Obviously, metaphors will fall apart eventually, or symbolism with physical objects or things like this. It'll fall apart eventually. So it doesn't perfectly paint a picture for parenting. However, it was important enough and it fit well enough with my understanding that I wanted to include it in the logo. So we have the arrow, we have the two D's that look like bows, but they're intertwined in a way that also looks like a target. And so we are shooting the arrow at a target to hit the bullseye, to hit the center. And that might be different for each person. There are also a lot of other factors involved. You might be building an arrow, but you had the broadhead built by some other company and you're kind of putting it together. So there are other influences in your children's life that are going to impact who they are and who they turn into be as an adult. You know, there are people who actually go and make the whole entire arrow, but say you have a friend that's really good at making arrowheads and so you say, hey, like, I really appreciate the time and effort you've put into this. Like, could you make an arrowhead for me? And that would be similar to somebody else with a different life experience coming alongside and mentoring your child. And having, those positive influences, different types of figures, whether it is like another motherly figure or a fatherly figure, there are others who will influence how that arrow is built, is what I'm trying to say. And then after you release it, there are other factors as well. You have the wind and you have different obstacles that you might be shooting around. You might have an uphill shot or a downhill shot or different distances. There's so many different things and so many ways in this analogy that you could kind of just meditate on and learn from. And it's not something that you just say like, okay, you're not just looking for pieces that are going to fall apart, but you're just looking to gain wisdom and understanding. And it's very similar to listening to somebody else's story, because that person is not going to be perfect, and they're also not going to have the most perfect advice. Like, it's going to be from their opinion, but you want to listen to them and you want to glean the wisdom from their relationship that will apply to your life in the best way possible, and then to take that and to grow from it. And so Dad Dare is all about that. It's all about daring ourselves to become and be the best dads that we can be, and at the same time learning from others. So there's a part of this logo why I had the grayish color. I originally had this very steel or this iron looking, is really shiny. We ended up going with a more simple version, but the gray color really represents iron sharpening iron. So others keeping each other accountable. And part of this channel will be having challenges and challenging ourselves to be holistically healthy and having accountability in that process. And so iron sharpening iron, that kind of feel to it. So I'm super excited about the logo. The text at the bottom that we put, Dad and Dare, coming together, it just fit well with the image. And so I'm super excited. So now what I need to do is I need to switch out the logo from Axe Family to Dad Dare on all of our different platforms. I also need to change the name, and unfortunately there are some places where I won't actually be able to change I won't be able to change the name. So like the URL for YouTube will still be youtube.com/axfamily. Excited to put out some different videos. So again, here are some different topics that I'm going to do. I'm going to be interviewing other dads, trying to glean wisdom from their experiences. I'm going to continue to do product reviews and projects, and they'll be somewhat dad related. I'm interviewing others, product reviews, projects, and then we have the challenges that I'll be doing. So this year of 2020, planning on doing a different challenge for every month, and I've been sharing that on Instagram. So if you want to follow Instagram, you can check that out. And then we might have some other topics in there too. I thought it would be fun to maybe do some dad dares, in the sense of like a friendly competition with other dads, and maybe have some cool things they could win from doing them. So we'll see. Hats off to you.